Vincent Van Gogh said, "I am always doing what I cannot do yet in order to learn how to do it." College is really hard, especially your first year. When you get to college, presumably, you are now in a place where you have never lived before, you're meeting all new people that you didn't know before, and you're learning to live on your own for what is probably the first time in your life. And that's scary and difficult and really, really overwhelming. I think no matter how prepared you are or how outgoing of a person you are, college is overwhelming. I think it's even more overwhelming when you're a college student who's having to deal with a chronic illness or a disability. In college, you're learning to prioritize a lot of different things, and having to make your health and well-being a priority takes up a lot of time, and it can be really difficult to do because there are cool classes you want to take, and there's clubs you want to join, and there's people you want to meet, and things you want to do, and having to manage how you're feeling physically, mentally, when other people around you aren't having to worry about their health in the same way can be really isolating and really frustrating. When you are chronically ill, you have to always be aware of how much energy you have, what your body's feeling, where you are in terms of energy and pain and wellness. And it sucks when you just want to go out and do all these things. You're kind of caught in this hard place where you want to be having fun because everybody is telling you that college is going to be the best 4 years of your life, that you're going to have the best time, you're going to meet the best people, you're going to come into yourself, and you feel a little more lonely because you feel like you don't get to have those same experiences because your health has to come first. There are a lot of things that we have to deal with that healthy, able-bodied folks just don't have to think about. Healthy students don't have to choose between going to class or being pain-free for the day. They don't have to write an email to a professor explaining that they couldn't finish the homework assignment because they were in extreme pain and having a flare-up. They don't have to get accommodations for a class because they need extra time. They have never had to explain to a professor that they can't go to their office hours in their office because the office is on the 3rd floor and the building has no elevator, or apologize because they are always going to be 10 minutes late to class because the building that they have their first class in is a 15-minute walk from the building they're their second class in, and there's no possible way that they can walk there in time to get to class on time every day without leaving the first class early. There are a number of things that make college harder for chronically ill and disabled students. As somebody who didn't really have to deal with a disability or chronic illness before college, I felt like I was incredibly underprepared for the things that I would have to deal with as a chronically ill college student. I never, when I was looking for colleges, had to think about accessibility or student disability services. I never gave a thought to whether or not I could walk between my classes easily, or whether there was an elevator in the buildings I'd have classes in, or things like that. It wasn't an issue for me. And then I became disabled, and it was. And the college I had chosen was not really accessible. There's a lot of things that can make campus inaccessible, physically and people-wise. I have been really lucky to have a lot of great professors who are super understanding of my needs and my health issues. And I've also had professors that are super not understanding. And when you have a professor who isn't willing to make accommodations for you, it makes your life 100% harder because you didn't ask for these health issues, and it's not your fault that you need these accommodations. Also, legally, they are obligated to make reasonable accommodations. So I think one of my favorite experiences was taking a course where the professor was teaching Freudian theory, and I missed a day because of my chronic pain. And when I emailed the professor to meet with him outside of class and catch up on what I missed, he asked me to talk a little bit about why I missed class and asked me about my illness. And after I explained it to him, he got this coy look in his face. He was like, "So, you know what Freud would say about that, right?" Because Freud had just all these weird theories about chronic illness. Spoiler alert, it's all in your subconscious. And I was very annoyed. He was kind of joking, but he also kind of wasn't. And then he went on a weird rant about how we shouldn't take medication for illnesses, especially not mental illnesses. Super uncomfortable. But yeah, love it when professors make comments on my health despite knowing very little about it. There are a lot of little choices and challenges and obstacles that just come up that you may or may not be thinking about when you're imagining what college is going to look like. Everybody has something that they are going through or dealing with, and that's really tough. But not everybody will have to worry about their health in the same way that you do. Trying to manage a heavy workload with bad health is going to be a challenge. And a lot of people, when I talk about the obstacles I've faced in college, or just in general venting about the struggles that disabled and chronically ill students face in higher education, a lot of people ask me like, well, why don't you go somewhere else? Or why do you even bother going to college? If there's so many obstacles that you face, is it worth it? And I think for every college student who is chronically ill or disabled who has ever asked themselves that or been asked that, I think the answer is different for everyone. And I can't speak for everybody who is ill and in college, but for me, I think it is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. I worked my butt off to get into this college. It was the school of my dreams. I was so excited to go there, and I think that I have just as much right as any other student to be there, and I've proven that I deserve to be there. I don't want to let my illness and my health get in the way of the dreams and the goals that I've set for myself. I don't think it's fair to ask ill students to give up on the things that they've been working towards just because a campus or a professor is not accommodating for them. I don't know, I think it's absurd to say that the burden for making a place accessible lies entirely on the students themselves. Disabled and chronically ill students are smart and hardworking and awesome. We have so much to offer to a college and to our fellow students and professors and to the world. I've had an amazing time at college. I have taken classes that interest me and challenge me. I have met people who motivate me and push me to be a better version of myself. I've discovered things that I'm passionate about. I've had opportunities I never dreamed I would have before. And it's been awesome. I lived and worked in New York for a summer for the organization of my dreams. I worked in a neuroscience lab. I have had the chance to do so many amazing things that I wouldn't be doing if I couldn't go to college. I don't want my life to be defined by my chronic illness or my disability. While those things are big parts of my identity, and they're obviously things that I can't just ignore about myself, they're not all of me. I am so much more than that, and I have so much more to offer than that. So yes, it is hard, and it is difficult, and it is overwhelming, and there are days where I just want to drop out and move to the beach, or no, paint the ocean every day in a small surf town in California. But on most days, I'm grateful, and I am excited, and I am determined. It's gonna be hard to all you sick students out there. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to take care of yourself and advocate for yourself more than you ever have. But it's gonna be so freaking worth it. And we all have each other to lean on. If your campus isn't accessible, if your professors aren't understanding, like, I have your back and we have your back, and we are all going through this messy higher education thing together. So take note, administrators of colleges and universities. We are here, and we're here to stay, and we're doing big things. Until next time.